here today. We love seeing returning families and lots of new faces, so welcome. We're excited to have you here today, and we recognize that your lives are busy, so we hold you in gratitude today for being here and showing up despite the rain. So welcome. Give yourselves a round of applause. So I just wanted to share, there is noise in the background, we know, but we need to make sure that our kids have food by 11:30. So we're going to be navigating a little bit with the noise. So that's what happens when we're in construction, and we're almost done. We're almost there. I wanted to share what today's outcomes are. Today is a moment for us to welcome and introduce our amazing team. It's important for us to ensure that you're connecting with us as a community, because what makes us strong is how connected, and that sense of belonging is the thread of who we are. So that is close to our hearts. Reflect on our whys. We want to share where we are as a school, where we're planning to go, and our vision for learning for now and the future. Just quickly, our agenda is we always, and with our children and with our staff, we begin with inclusion activities. Inclusion activities do a couple of things. They help us ground ourselves. They also help us forget the busy world and help us focus on the moment. And it's a great way, again, to connect with each other. We're going to introduce our team, our why, mission, and strategic goals for 25-26. We're going to share the updates and celebration of the IB and college admissions. We're excited where our kids are taking off to. We're going to also give you an update in terms of the parent survey that we had last year. Your voice matters. It feeds us and helps us plan ahead. So we'll share the good and the next steps that we'll be taking with respect to your feedback. We're going to share updates around our creativity, our Center for Creativity and Innovation. And last but not least, reflection and closure. Some norms. We start all of our meetings with norms, so we begin with positive communication. We listen with care and empathy to each other. We are going to encourage you to share your thoughts. We value your perspective. Collaboration is a big piece of the work that we do here, and ask lots of questions. So risk-taking is one of the core values that come with the International Baccalaureate program. So just as much as we ask our kids to take risks, we're going to ask you today to also take risks with the inclusion activity. You might be asked to dance and perform. We did that to our new staff. We won't do it to you, I promise. But it's really important, and there's a quote by William Faulkner that talks about, he says, you cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to reach the side of the shore. And when you're coming into a new community, it's really important that you say, and I said this to the new families, to say yes to the new opportunities, say yes to the challenges that sometimes come to being in a new community and culture, and say yes to being part of this community and taking risks. And with that, we begin our inclusion activity, and our Associate Principal, Laura Blair, will lead you in it. Do it.
Good morning, everyone. We won't ask you to dance yet, but that yet is important because there will be other moments that we will. We're going to have a turn and talk this morning when we're talking about vision and leadership. A few people come to mind, some quotes come to mind. So just take a moment to read these 4 quotes. Think about which resonates with you right now and why. And then I would encourage you to turn around and talk to someone who you didn't walk in the building with this morning, maybe someone you don't know or don't know as well, and let them know which quote resonates most with you and why. Let's take 30 seconds to just look at them and read them before we start our turn and talk. Go ahead and turn to someone and share. Thank you. too. That's amazing. Is anyone willing to share what their partner shared with them? Paraphrase, summarize what you learned or heard from someone else? With their permission, of course.
Risk-taking.
Thank you.
Nick, he was saying that he likes the best the second one because so many people forgot that when they are in a leader position, they forgot that their work is help to others, not to be served. So it's really important that we help the people that work with us to do their work better and easier.
Those of you that know me know I absolutely love the symbolism of the Casteller, the Catalan castle, the human tower, and leadership, thinking of them as that bottom tier, the foundation, the piña that lifts others up, so our kids are getting to the top. It's not really about us, it's about us as a team lifting. Is anyone else willing to share? You were so talkative just a moment ago. When there's a microphone involved. Thank you, Jill.
So I was over here getting to know Sonia. We talked about the first quote. I've learned that people will forget what you've said, but people will not forget people will forget what you did, but not forget how you made them feel. And one thing that we talked about was just the community feeling at BFIS and how we really appreciate that and know that that's a big part of something that all of you do is to contribute to that feeling of belonging and inclusion, not just for our kids, but also for our wider community. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. We have time for one more, if there's one more person who wants to share. Thank you.
So we had an agreement at this end of the table that the first quote and the last quote really kind of capture an idea together, and that when you're engaging with people and you're really actively listening and you're engaging empathetically, you get way more out of the interaction and you become closer faster. And it was also a reflection that the teachers that we remember in our education experience are those that teach in that way, that teach you in a way that you really feel the subject matter and you take something away from it that feels special.
Thank you so much.
The power of active listening to understand instead of listening to respond. Absolutely. Okay, thank you so much.
And it's a wonderful way. The magic behind some of the work are really these people, and they're not all here, but I want to make sure that if you see them, these are the people that are leading the work when it comes to curriculum. We have Liz Mahaffey, who's our whole school support coordinator. Heather Breedlove, who I think is here too. She's our director of digital learning, creativity, and innovation. Joe Grande, who has doubled our athletics teams. He's not here. Yes, please do, because he's done a lot of work. We have Bea Zimmerman, who leads the after-school and summer programs. Erica Johnson, Andrea McNamara, and Michael Valenti, they are our curriculum coordinators, so they're the ones that are leading the work and they're part of our middle leadership. And the next group of staff that I want to introduce as well are our counseling team, who we're really fortunate to have. April is on her way. She's in the middle of navigating visas, who's the elementary counselor. We also have Julie Rayner, who many of you know because she used to be the elementary counselor. Now she's the middle school counselor. And we have Rachel Gerbig and Dina, who's our college and career counselor. And Dina has a meeting for those 10th, 11th, 12th grade parents.
First 12th grade parents, and then 11th grade parents, and then 10th and 9th.
So you'll meet her as you begin to prepare for college and all those exciting opportunities for kids. We're going to skip this. So last year was a year that we shared the rebranding of our mission statements and values, and we wanted to share them with you because all the work that we do moving forward is grounded in our mission statements, and it's to stimulate creativity and curiosity, build a sense of community, and create future-ready learners. And we also believe that in guiding creative, curious, and joyful learners to imagine and shape a more just and sustainable community. And that's important to us, and that's what guides our work. Our values, we have 6 values, and we're not going to go into them now, but we are anchoring our work, and we started on joy, and not just joy of this happy feeling, but it's about giving gratitude for what we have. Responsibility, that we're responsible to ourselves, but to others as well, and to the environment. And respect is also about ensuring that we recognize and honor others' inherent worth. And that's how we're starting the school year. And every work that we do, day to day, is grounded in these. We're doing all 6, but we decided to focus on these 3. The graduate profile, for us, again, as I said, we're grounding our work and our values, but the idea is that we're developing kids that are knowledgeable, that are thinkers, that are communicators, that they're principled, open-minded. I'm not going to go through the whole wheel, but the idea is so that they're well-rounded and globally focused students. It's really important for us that they're not just members of this community, but they're responsible to give back to the community, to give back to locally and globally. So the IB Action, we are an IB program school, and really when we think about the work that kids need to do, we want them to use their head, their heart, and hand in terms of how they approach learning, but also it's about reflecting, choosing, and acting, and that's a guiding principle in terms of what we do within the classroom, but also just across the school. Our vision for learning has 3 pillars, and we're coming to a close to our 3 pillars, but it's important that you know what we're doing now and why we're doing it. Experiential learning is a big part of the work that we do. We believe that you learn by doing. So outdoor learning has been increased. We have Forest School. We have our kids participating in MUN, which is the Model United Nations debate, where they get to have opportunities where they meet with kids globally. This summer, we also had students, and this is the result of parents and our partnership. We had an intern at San Juan de Dios, where the kids had an opportunity to watch how surgery took place with an AI-operated hand, and that was through the connection we had with parents. So parents are an important part of the learning, because we know that learning takes place not just in nature, but also locally, and that partnership is really essential. Creativity and innovation is a huge emphasis that we've committed to. We've increased the arts. We now have a 10th grade, high school choir, I should say, not 10th grade. We have high school choir, middle school, and elementary. But we recognize we don't know what the future holds in terms of jobs, but what we do know is that we need kids that are adaptable, kids that are creative and innovative, to really think about what the future holds, because we don't know what the jobs will be in the future generation, and it's our responsibility to give our kids the skills to be able to face that future. And then individual potential. It's really important that we empower our students and our teachers, and that learning is contextualized. That's why it's interdisciplinary. We don't learn in silos. We need to help kids make connections. So the written, taught, and assessed curriculum is a big emphasis that we're engaging in this year. We are in the middle of the middle years program certification, and a lot of the work that's happening right now as we speak is teachers working on curriculum, ensuring that we're developing inquiry and also interdisciplinary lines across the curriculum. And again, why do we do this work? Why does it matter? It's not just about these 4 walls. It's about our impact on the larger world. We really believe in being socially responsible and giving back. Our work matters because these are the issues that our kids are facing. And every year we select a focus. I don't know what the focus is for this year.
They voted yesterday.
They did vote yesterday. For every year, students vote for the focus of the SDG. I'm hoping, in my mind, that it's about peace and justice and strong institutions. It's really important. But I hope our kids voted that way. But again, we're honoring their voice. And every year, we're committed to teaching our kids about these issues, because this is what they're facing and what we're facing. We are accredited by the MSA. We're in the middle of our MYP. We're excited for that. Woohoo! It's a lot of work. We're excited. And we're also looking to get accredited by the Council of International Schools, which is really the creme de la creme of accreditation. And having them lead that work in our school will also begin to lift more of the work that's happening here by an outside agency, helping us also lift those standards. And I wanted to share a video, because our claim is a school where any dream is possible, and there is some intentionality about this idea of dreams. And there's a power when we're able to really capture kids and their passions and helping them know how to channel it. And we thought this video did a nice job of capturing that, which is what we're hoping to do for our kids.
If people say your dreams are crazy, if they laugh at what you think you can do, good. Stay that way. Because what non-believers fail to understand is that calling a dream crazy is not an insult. It's a compliment. Don't try to be the fastest runner in your school or the fastest in the world. Be the fastest ever. Don't picture yourself wearing OBJ's jersey. Picture OBJ wearing yours. Don't settle for homecoming queen or linebacker. Do both. Lose 120 pounds and become an Ironman after beating the brain tumor. Don't believe you have to be like anybody to be somebody. If you're born a refugee, don't let it stop you from playing soccer for the national team at age 16. Don't become the best basketball player on the planet. Be bigger than basketball. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. When they talk about the greatest team in the history of the sport, make sure it's your team. If you have only one hand, don't just watch football. Play at the highest level. And if you're a girl from Compton, don't just become a tennis player. Become the greatest athlete ever. Yeah, that's more like it. So don't ask if your dreams are crazy. Ask if they're crazy enough.
So I shared this because actually it was important for me to share this because I had a conversation with one of our 11th graders who last year made a pitch to our board to help fund and support the robotics program. They're actually in conversation with folks from the U.S. so that we can have the first Lego League in Spain. And they believe that the other mission they have is to bring as many students early on in middle school and elementary to be part of the robotics program. We want our kids to be able to take charge and lead and know that their voice has purpose and that we are listening to them and we're supporting them in that process. I wanted to share a little bit about our IBDP results. I'm not going to focus on the scores. What I am going to focus on is, for us, it's really important. Many IB programs tend to track kids and only allow the best of the best to be part of the IB program. We allow all of our students to participate in the IB program. And when I first came here, I'll be honest, there were some times when I said, I don't know if this kid can make it. And what I've come to learn is that self-fulfilling prophecy, you really do believe kids can, they do. And I've been floored and blown away by the outcomes of some of the students. I have to say, one of our students, actually two of our students, right, Laura, last year, were in learning support, got into Brown, got into Columbia, got into Georgetown. And I think it's essential that the community that you select for your child believes in them. And that comes with the premise that we have with the IB. I mean, I will say that we did have a number of students reach some top scores, which is 0.001% gap, so I'll brag about that, but that's not who we are. That's an outcome of what we do. I will share and we'll post this on the website so that you can have. We just wanted to share a little bit about where some of our, the class of 2025 went. Surprisingly, we didn't have as many kids apply to the US as I had thought. There was previous years that there were lots, but we've had amazing admission at Nipponton. You know, we had some kids get into UPenn, Columbia, Georgetown, in Barcelona, Save, EA. The United Kingdom, we had Imperial, King's, Edinburgh, St. Andrews. And I was really excited because we just got an email from a parent saying that their child got into Yonsei, which is one of the top Korean schools for medicine. So we were really proud, but we're excited that our kids represent a whole, we have kids that have also taken gap years to do community service, and we're excited and proud of the work that they've done as well. And then, this is the university acceptances from 2019 to 2024. The admissions have been huge, and they've gone to many places, and we're excited and proud of them.
Thank you so much. So we wanted to just give you guys an overview as well, just in terms of some strategic areas of focus for this year and beyond. So in terms of our school-wide vision for learning, these are the areas that we're continuing to focus on this year. And this work has already begun. So me and Liz, we've already met. We're looking at our bilingual, multilingual learners program, how we can best support our second language speakers school-wide. That kind of naturally feeds into belonging, how we're making sure all of our kids feel connected, whether they're from Barcelona, whether they've just moved internationally, they're from Spain, just making sure that everyone in our community is best supported. Also looking at our professional learning model. So this is really how we as the leadership team are stepping into classrooms to observe teachers, observe their practice, whether it's the written, taught or the assessed curriculum. Also looking at the engagement from our students. This is going to involve a student survey component as well, so that when we're tweaking and we're redesigning our units for all of our kids, we're hearing student voices. It's not just leadership. And we'll be reaching out to parents as well to kind of get your feedback in case there's anything we're missing from home. Really looking at that universal design for learning. So this is really a broader concept of how we're really connecting with each of our kids in terms of their learning styles. It's not just the students that are maybe bilingual, multilingual learners or those who are on the learning support register. It's really making sure that each classroom, each teacher has a toolkit of resources to really differentiate their curriculum, to make it really interesting and insightful for their students. So just going beyond what's kind of there in their plan. AI implementation, so we have Heather joining us this year. We recently went through a RAIL process. It's not an accreditation, it's an endorsement. So we kind of have a framework for what we think AI should look like in our school. And the work that we're going to do with Heather this year is really going into classrooms, first to do a baseline assessment for teachers. Where are they at with their AI competencies? Do they feel confident? What resources do they like? Same with students as well, in order to develop a practice that we find aligns with our academic integrity policy at the school, and to make sure that there's kind of a standardized practice across all of our classrooms. We'll focus initially on middle school and high school, but then we're going to later on be then looking at maybe our elementary school as well, looking at the tech resources we have to see whether they're necessary, to see if they're really linked to the curriculum, to see how they're really inspiring our kids.
And just an emphasis for us, digital well-being and balance is really important. We know what the research says, so that's.
I was also just saying that we're looking at digital balance and well-being. We know what the research says, so we really need to be intentional around the use of technology in the classrooms. So that's another area of focus.
Perfect. And then finally, safe passage across networks. So in the process of trying to become a SPAN school, and this is really a concept that links into what I mentioned before about belonging. It's about making sure that every transition that occurs within our community the kids are best supported, they feel safe, and we're really rallying around them, a team around every child. So it's whether it's new students joining the school, or it's students transitioning from kindergarten to grade 1, or it could be grade 5 to NYP, NYP to DP, DP to university. Just really building those solid foundations so that every child within the school feels safe, feels secure, and that we're all just giving them the best possible opportunity to be successful, and to also just feel safe and be happy. We mentioned this before, so deepening belonging, strengthening practices, preparing students with courage and care. Really focusing on those 3 areas of the values that Leela mentioned before, joy, respect and responsibility. We started the year with an appreciative inquiry for staff, really understanding what practices they're currently doing within the classroom and how we can really elevate this to the next level so that all of our kids come to school joyfully, they love class, they're inspired by class, they're inspired to be responsible learners, responsible members of the community, and then that then feeds into the respect in terms of their work ethic, the way that they're treating each other. So really trying to craft that sense of belonging across the whole community. If we break it down into divisions, so for elementary, the real focus this year is going to be continuing what was started last year. So it's going to be deepening transdisciplinary learning. We've increased the program of inquiry, so the number of units that kids are studying in elementary in a transdisciplinary manner has increased to 4. And it's just giving them more opportunities to delve into project-based learning. And again, it's linking into that universal design for learning. It's not just one way of teaching kids, it's really trying to open it up. So kids are going to be learning sometimes in a small group, sometimes in a big group, sometimes individually, but everything connected to this bigger program of inquiry. That leads into inquiry-driven teaching. The team did some fantastic work last year at kind of deep diving into literacy practices. We have this move from balanced literacy towards more science of reading, evidence-based approaches, and we're going to continue that this year. So we actually had quite a big meeting about it last week. We're just going to delve into the curriculum in a bit more detail, just making sure that all of our learners are best supported in elementary. These foundational literacy building blocks are so important. Same for numeracy, so we're reviewing the math curriculum currently, really making sure that the curriculum in every grade level is intentional and that we're really sharp on our progress monitoring and how that data is going to inform tweaking our math practices. That leads into assessment and communicating. So I know that this came up within the parent survey. Leela will cover that later. It's not just about collecting the data and kind of how we're teaching the kids, it's also about how we're communicating that with you, so that you kind of have this better picture of where your kids are, what they're doing at school every day, and how you can support at home. For secondary, Leela mentioned this previously, but one of our continuing focuses is the NYP authorization process that we're currently going through. So the big focus there is going to be curriculum. It's going to be making sure we have a vertical and horizontal alignment in terms of curriculum, but also in terms of the skills that we're building for each student. And then for the DP, it's going to be, again, just doing an overview assessment of where we are in terms of our teaching practices and just smoothing that transition between NYP and DP. Those of you who've got kids in the DP, do we have many DP parents here? A couple? It's a really rigorous program. I think it's almost like a master's program. It's really intense. So we really want to be supporting these kids and giving them all of the skills that they need to complete this program successfully. And that's where this NYP-DP transition comes in. It's building those skills that when they come to the DP, they're fully prepared. For advisory, Damon's been doing some fantastic work with Laura, kind of reviewing our advisory program, really linking that into the importance of community. So this is going to be a continued area of focus this year. And then it is putting in place those frameworks like the professional learning model, where then we're stepping into those advisory classes to give feedback and coaching to teachers. And then professional learning, just making sure as a leadership team, we're constantly checking in with each other. How are our divisions doing? How are we progressing with our goals? But also, how can we strengthen that whole school approach? Because we don't want it to be two separate systems, elementary and secondary. We really want to have a more connected community moving forwards.
So we're almost, I know there's been a lot of talking, so you've been patient. You've been just as good as your kids, actually. We wanted to share the survey results. Your feedback matters, and we actually, at the start, one of the first things that we did as a leadership team was break down the feedback that we got. So I want to share the results. I want to share the next steps that we're taking, and you should hold us to account. If by the middle of the year you don't see certain things happening, say, hey, didn't you say we were doing this? That's your job, is to hold us accountable. So, and again, that your feedback is important, and we use it to guide our work. So overall participation, we had 215 parents. We want to increase the numbers for next year. So 43% of our families responded. We went up from a net promoter score of 22% in 2024 to 37%. In early childhood, there was lots of parents are happy at 71%. In elementary, it was 38%. In middle school, it was 40%. In high school, it dipped a little bit, and DP went up. It went to 43%. Our job is to ensure that that goes up. It's important that we're communicating, and I know that's an area of growth for us, back, because there's a lot that's happening in our school that I sometimes think families are not even aware of. So that's the big step we're taking this year, is also, it hasn't started just, and I'll tell why, but around communication is how we share what's happening in our school. Some of the feedback, could you go back to the other one? That we got was that families valued the teaching and academic quality most, but noted that the progress reporting was an area that needed improvement. After school and cafeteria and facilities. Facilities were on it. And the progress reporting, we also have a plan to increase the amount of information we're getting back to families as well. And there have been lots of changes with after school based on the feedback that we had received. So what are we celebrating? So teacher relationships and approachability was at 85%, it's favorable. Academic program quality, 78% favorable. Social emotional growth support was again 72% favorable. Families said they feel their children are cared for, supported, and challenged academically. Took a quote that said, teachers are approachable and supportive, our child is thriving, but we know that that's not where we want to be. There's work still to take place. So what are the things that we're looking at? Progress reporting. We are actually looking at our progress reports, and we're also looking at the frequency in which you're receiving them. After school programs, that was 30% of parents expressed dissatisfaction with variety and quality, and we've made a huge shift over the spring to make amends for that. The cafeteria, only 20% favorable. And there was a request for quality, variety, and healthier options. And for us, I think it's also communicating and having families come check out the food, because I'll ask the new staff to talk a little bit about the lunch, but
Yeah, so this is one area of the parent survey where we felt we needed to dig a bit deeper, because the food on offer is fantastic. There's a big variety. We're also kind of following certain mandates from health and safety food agencies. So I actually wrote a weekly article on it last week because we did a bit of a research into it. But all of this food is locally sourced, it's fresh, it's cooked on site. There's a variety of meat options, fish, pulses. The kids seem to really enjoy the lunch, but obviously there's a bit of a disconnect, right? Some kids are going home to say that they don't like it. And I think this is where we need a bit more information. So this might be a survey or something that I add to the weekly, or we scoop up in our grade level meetings, so I can really understand more, because the menu that we have seems quite balanced and the kids seem to really enjoy it. But what are we missing?
There's something
Is that, I'm new in the school, is that menu shared with the parents? Because my kids are enrolled in the lunch, and I have to ask them what they eat
It's
or
on
not.
the website.
It's in the parent portal. You can download the monthly menu. So yeah, my kids were delighted because on the first day of their new school, they had like ice cream or something. They've never had ice cream, but it's like a pudding or something. So that was a real seller for me. I was like, look, on the first day you get pasta and you get this. So yeah, it's all there. Download it, have a look through. If you've got feedback or suggestions, speak to your grade reps and let us know, because food is such an important part of the day for the kids. It's not just eating, it's also that social time. It's the way they connect with their friends who are maybe in a different class or a different grade. So we really want that to be an enjoyable experience.
So look out for those surveys. We're going to start sending like smaller surveys so that we can get more accurate feedback so that we can act on it. Facilities, yes, we are. We've done surveys on lots of things, but not on food. So that's something that we can do. Yeah, we will. That's a good point.
Maybe they say something at home. I don't know.
No, it's a good point. Yeah. Noted. Facilities. It was funny, the early childhood said it was strong, so I love that. We're in the midst of construction. We've been in construction for 8 years. We're ready to be done with construction. And we're looking, I'll show some renders of what's to come. And the quote that we got here was, we love the academics, but we would appreciate clearer progress reports and more engaging after-school options. We also added math and Spanish will be areas of focus for us this year. They're a top priority for us. Yes?
Say Spanish as an additional language or Spanish for the youth?
Both. We're looking at both the language acquisition as well as Spanish for, I'm going to say native speakers, but it's for first language speakers.
And the Spanish component, this is another area where we're going to be asking for a bit more targeted feedback, because the feedback in the overarching parent survey was quite general. So for us, we've got some ideas already, but we really kind of want to hear from you, or also our students, just to see where we're going to focus and where we're going to balance.
So just a few things. We will be launching a full review of the math programs. The performance feedback, that's work that we're beginning to think about how we'll tackle it, but we are tackling it. Extracurriculars, we had 15 teams last year. We have 30. So we've grown quite a bit, and it includes elementary, middle school, and secondary. There's new offerings. We have cross-country. We also have American football, and that's grown. So there's some work that's happened there. With arts and experiences, it's important for you to note that we've expanded the music program. For us, what's important, and I need parents to hear this, is that's a shift from prior years. We want our kids to engage in all and I'm talking about middle school here. We want all of our kids to engage in all of the arts. Drama, visual arts, performing arts. There's another one I'm leaving out. Music.
Did I say music?
Well, we want them to engage in all, and we want our kids to participate in all of them. With respect to design, computer science, and robotics, we also want them to engage in all. In middle school. Why? Because in the 9th and 10th grade, we want them to select the one that they're most passionate about. So some parents might say, like, my kid's not a drama kid. We get that. We want them to have the experience and have an opportunity to engage in that content. So some parents were saying, like, can we get my kid out of drama? Can I get my kid out of music? They're not musically inclined. We want them to have a holistic experience, and we want them to engage in all of the components of our arts program. So I wanted to share that. We have updated our ES play area. There is a new elevator in the Orwell. The blue court pitch has been upgraded. I know families had concerns, so we listened and we acted on that. Our Center for Creativity and Innovation will open up, hopefully, in the spring of 2026, but opening for students in September of 26. And we know that there's work to do on communication. That is a big area of focus for us, and that is the big work our board is also in support of. I think it's important for you to see where we started. This was, I think, even before you, Laura. So the shifts and growth that we've experienced has been huge. So in 2016, this is what our entrance looked like. And this is what it looked like in 2021. The elementary building opened in 2016, but this is what it used to look like. This was our sports court in 2018. Actually, it's not even this one. It was updated this summer. This was our entrance in our play area and its shift where we have the geometric shapes. This was our middle school, which actually they were trailers. And now it happened during COVID and it opened right after COVID. And now we're laying the foundation for our signature building, our creme de la creme, which is the Center for Creativity and Innovation. All of us are so ready for it. All the floors are already built. There are 6 floors, 2 underground and 4 above. It will be LEED certified. What does that mean? That means that we practice what we preach. We talk a lot about sustainability, and our building is built with materials that are kinder to the environment. We recycle, reuse, think about the water usage. It's thoughtfully planned so that we are also using it as a symbol to teach our kids about what we need to give back to the world and to the earth and to Earth. We will have 11 state-of-the-art classrooms. The athletic will have a proper gym that we can have like 3 games take place at once. We'll have a visual and performing arts center in addition to the auditorium, which will have a recording studio, but also practice booths so kids can practice their instruments. We will have wings. There will be a design, robotics, and maker space wing for kids. Art and music rooms as well. And our outdoor space has more courts, but also it has an amphitheater and lots of space for kids to be able to meet and work and come together. We will have a place so that you can drink coffee in the mornings. You don't have to drink coffee outside. We'll welcome you into the building, because community matters to us. So that's a big part of what's happening. And this was also, just want you to know that we've gotten feedback from staff to ensure that we're thinking about the needs of children and the academics. So the Center for Creativity and Innovation, we began the demolition in 2023. The hope is that the concrete structure, not the hope, we're already there. It's built. Between April and May, we will be looking to fit the interior. And then June, August is when it'll be completely ready for kids to enter. And we will open the new school year, September 1st, 2026. With the Center for Creativity and Innovation. We're excited, so excited. It's been a lot growing pains. So this piece is important, and this is our calling to you as well. Currently, we're a non-for-profit, so all the money that our school makes goes back into daily operations. This is mostly teacher salaries and programming. And one of the things that our CFO has been amazing is ensuring that we don't deplete our funds for capital projects. But it's important that philanthropy continues to help us to be able to do that. So it's really important in terms of the work that we started last year of asking families to help us accelerate the delivery of critical capital projects, but also for us to be able to continue to invest in our programs and in people. And we can only do that if we're able to have the philanthropy be part of the work that we do here. So what we're asking is, we've started a campaign of $2 million, asking for $2 million in support of the Center for Creativity and Innovation. We are asking parents to pledge over time, so it's not saying just pledge this one time, but it's over time so that it can be sustainable for families, but also for us to be able to continue to provide the programming that we offer. And we also want to create a culture of giving at the FIS that will also benefit not just who's here now, but future generations. As you saw, like we've been able to grow the school, but we've been able to grow the school in a way that has been sustainable. But what we want to do is to be able to grow the school and the programming at the same time without having to wait to to build programs. Our board has been generous. They donated $300,000. They have been a big part of the campaign of pushing and welcoming conversations with families. And the only ask we have is that if we invite you to a meeting, that you just come and listen, not necessarily, just listen and come and sit with us and learn more about our projects and what we're looking to raise for. We've had great success. We've raised a good amount to help us fund the CCI. And we've given you a mouthload of information. I'm sorry, typically we don't do this, but it's the start of the year, there's a lot of information to share. We did want to open it up to questions because we know that you have questions. We were supposed to tell you earlier that there was a parking lot if you had questions, but this is a perfect moment if you have any questions. If they're more specific to a division, like we'll stay behind so that you can have conversations with David and Laura. If it's for secondary or if there are questions about elementary specifically, we'll have Jill and Tara over here. But if they're bigger, larger questions, this is a perfect moment to ask. Yes? Oh no, we're, yeah, we are not, that's not changing. Yeah. Oh, if maybe there are questions that maybe you don't want to ask here, we love to Post-its and you can leave them, and what we could do is, depending on the type of question, we can also answer it for the weekly, share with the grade reps, or share it here. But we have the parking lot so that you can any questions that you may have. Yes?
What's DP?
Oh, the diploma program, which is part of the International Baccalaureate, and it's which begins in 11th and 12th grade.
Other one
Is MYP, middle years program. So 6 to 10 is a middle years program. Great question. We should have done a better job of explaining that. Thank you. Yes?
Is there going to be a DP lounge in the new building?
A what lounge?
DP?
Yes. They will have a lounge area. They have one now currently as well. Oh, will there be a lounge for 11th and 12th graders in the new building? And I said yes. And we currently have one for them right now too. Yes?
The new building, it said on the outside there's going to be a dance studio too.
That's for some of the fundraising. There is a space that we have, what? Oh, the question is if there's going to be a dance studio. We have a space that maybe yoga, we have to finalize one space, but that's still in the works. Any other questions? Yes?
We're new to international school, and there's a lot of new teachers, which is amazing. Is that typical? Every year it's different, and then how does that affect your ability to really dive into this work? Because it takes a while to get going.
So in elementary we have, oh, sorry. Thanks. So they're new to international schools, and we have a number of new teachers, and there is an impact when there's turnover of teachers. But in international schools, they tend to stay between 3 to 4 years. But international schools, there's a thread that connects them, which is often their MYP and DP international schools. So there is a line in terms of the framework. In elementary, actually, we just had really 3 new hires. So there's enough continuity within the folks that are here. And in secondary, too, it's actually one of the years that we've had one of the lowest numbers of new teachers. So, but it is something that is part of the work that we do. And we invest in onboarding, and we have them come actually 2 weeks ahead. Not that that's enough, but it's ensuring that we're also helping them understand our culture and the curriculum. But it's part of the work that all international schools do. Yeah. What?
I think having worked exclusively in international schools for the last 17 years, there's kind of pros and cons to those transitions. So sometimes, when people move on, there's sometimes a feeling of, we're losing some institutional knowledge. But actually, when you have new people coming on board as well, you have fresh ideas, fresh innovation. The curriculum is there. that's what we've got in the primary years and the middle years and the diploma programs. We have the curriculum, but sometimes those fresh eyes coming in, especially if they're transferred from another Ivy World school like I did, it's a case of, okay, let's put everything down and look at it. How can we tweak it? How can we make it better? We're also looking at our students with fresh eyes as well. There's kind of none of that previous experience. It's like, okay, I'm stepping into my class for the first time. And some of the amazing feedback this year from our secondary teachers especially has just been how amazing the kids are. They've just been blown away. So they've come in, they've had this 2 weeks to review all of the unit plans, the lesson plans, they put their personal touch on it. And then when the kids have come in, they've just been so ready to learn. It's been really inspiring. And this is something that we're going to be working on as a newer leadership team as well. It's kind of making sure we're keeping in place those fantastic things that are there, not kind of sweeping the board because we're new, we're going to do it our way, honouring what's there already, and now just trying to seek to uplift it and just kind of refine it and make it better for the teachers, better for the kids.
Does the leadership then tend to stay a little bit longer, or you just don't know?
In international schools, there's also there is movement in international schools, but I feel like we've been lucky. Laura's been here quite a. She
Here right now.
Okay. She's been here quite. This is my 8th year at BFIS, so this is my 2nd year as the head of school, but before that I was the associate head of school. So, and.
Can I say as well?
Sure.
Yeah, Laura's been here, I think 15 years, Leela's been here 8 years, Jill's been here 5 years, and for me, Damon and Tara, although we're new, we're lifers. So, I think in the last 15 years that I was in Asia, I moved to 2 schools, and I'm super selective. Like Damon, my kids are here. I want the best possible program for them. So it's not going to be a 1 or 2 year international stint. I'm here. I'll be terrorising Damon next year when Teddy moves to NYP, and then when Shay moves to NYP. So I'm on it. We're here. We really want the best for all of the kids.
I'm just going to share too that my experience so far has been that we've got really strong tiered leadership as well. And I think that all of us in our leadership development, when we first got here, we've been here since August the 4th, working together to build our own capacity and our relationships with each other, because that's huge. That we can sense each other, feel each other, and be really, really united. I've been, to be honest, really, really blown away. I've worked in many, many schools across the world. The way that leadership is approached at BFIS has been very, very holistic and I'm very impressed. I've got people on my team in elementary that have the strongest capacity that I've seen in a lot of places. And that leadership exists. All those people that you saw at the beginning, they really, and like what Laura had said about the tower, the Spanish tower, is that is what we were building here. That although we are maybe in a leadership role, everybody else with us and alongside us is doing that work. So the people that are the experts in curriculum, those that are experts in the technology, those that are experts in looking at the system change, those that are experts in certain areas, we all bring that together and we work really closely together. There's a lot of time cut out during the day so that we're connecting and making sure those conversations are happening. It's a beautiful structure. It really is. It's incredibly collaborative.
I was just curious.
Yeah. No, it's an awesome question. Yeah.
Can I say something on that note?
Sorry.
No, I think on that, do you hear me? On that note, I think there's a lot of good things that are happening. Sometimes I'm looking into the parent survey, we don't get informed about it. For example, I'm just giving you 2 examples that happened directly to me. Some people from the counseling team in the elementary school left the school and nobody knew. And for example, my daughter particularly had grown very fond of that person, and she asked me if she had left and I didn't know what to answer. Or other good things like Miss, I'm going to say specific names. They told me that you guys grew the team for extra learning, for help, and that's wonderful. And I think parents don't know that, and now we're having more people support kids. So sometimes all these really good things are really just, they're really important to communicate really strongly, because, a lot of as brain reps, then they ask us, and we also don't know. And it's some kids are really sensitive, and when people leave, for them it's really strong, and if we as parents don't know what to answer them, sometimes it's really discomfort, especially in younger, I don't know if in older kids, but in younger kids, it's really hard when someone they look up to leaves and we don't tell them before.
That's helpful feedback. I have to say it was a shock for us too.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So,
But that's helpful feedback, so we'll take that into consideration. Yes.
I'm not new in international schools. Our previous school in Switzerland had basically zero turnover of teachers, and I really felt like this was taken away from, the school didn't have the vibrancy I was used to. I was living in China, and I felt like, okay, this is just a regular school, and the teachers didn't have a good amount of international experiences. Many of them have been there 20 years, and I'm like, how can they understand my kids who are third culture kids, and they have left, and they have lost, and they have ventured into the world many times? How can this person talk to my kids? How can they understand the trauma, the difficulties, the excitement? So a good amount of turnover, if it's not excessive, I think it adds. And I'm really excited for all the experiences that new people are bringing in.
you made a valid your point.
It's a great point, because you're right, the loss and needing new kids, there's so much learning in there, and you said that, and I didn't realize that till I dropped my kid off and he made a comment about it. And that can only happen in an international school, that they understand that some of the kids that they might be with, and the teachers might leave, but that there's an opportunity for new relationships. So thank you for bringing that up. That's important.
And I think, we're looping back to that communication piece, and that's why it's one of our strategic goals this year. And it's also for us to lean on you a bit, because even from this conversation, we've seen two very different perspectives from the parent community. So what's too much communication? What's not enough? We're working on the weekly, every week, Amelia and Lila, and sometimes it's so much information. And then we're like, right, we've got it, and then, we left one thing out, and that's obviously what parents want to hear. So we're going to be asking you, how long should it be? What do we want in there? Do we include those transitions in advance? We included the new staff bios, but maybe, we need a farewell for those staff that are leaving as well, just to make sure that everyone feels seen and there's no kind of unpleasant surprises for the kids. Because it's the kids, that's why we're doing it, right? We want to make sure that they feel happy and they know everyone at school.
I have a question around the why and the signals for doing a math audit. What is the driver behind that?
So we looked at MAP data, we looked at our DP results, and our kids are doing fine, and we're doing above the world average, but it was the area that we felt like we could continue to grow more, so it was grounded in data. And grounded, actually, we had some feedback from families saying, like, some of the teaching felt uneven, so we thought it was important for us to kind of, again, we don't want it to be uneven, how do we align it so that it's equivalent across? So that's the rationale. Thank you.
Hi. Just a question about the MYP authorization and at what stage are you right now?
So we had feedback last semester, and we were given a certain report with a certain number of matters to be addressed. So we've addressed most of those. The one area that we're working on now with our new MYP coordinator is really delving into the curriculum to make sure that we've got consistent unit planning across all different subject groups. And then after that, we need to create a unit overview, which is basically like this big, horrible document that tells you every single thing about that subject at every single grade level with everything linked into it. So that's kind of what we're working on now. We've started those initial meetings. After we submit that, then it will be the IB will come to the school, and that's when they will be meeting with students, they'll be going into classes, meeting with the leadership team, and then they'll give us further feedback, and then that's kind of us on our authorization journey. It's quite exciting. I want to say at this point, the best thing about this process is that all of the MYP teachers are so enthusiastic. They're just like, let's do it, we're ready, we really want this process really clean and really systematized. So it's going to be a great couple of months for us.
I'd like to ask about the SPAN, safe passes across networks. You mentioned that kids are being supported, and I'd like to ask, first of all, if you can elaborate a little bit about what SPAN is, and the other thing is, kids are being supported. Are they supported in the moment, or supported to build resilience? How?
So there are a number of systems that we're putting into place. So it begins from onboarding, like how we welcome kids in, how we welcome families in, but also looking at our transition periods. We're in the middle of creating some procedures precisely for that, so that we can target the areas that sometimes kids are need most support. So transition years, looking at onboarding of children that are coming in, but also when kids are leaving. So last year when we knew of what students were moving on, we had sessions to get them ready and prepped to say goodbye to kids here, but also to think about getting excited about their new situation or new school journey. So it's looking at kids at different stages, but also not just kids, as staff and families. So we're putting that into place as we speak. And Liz, who's been a big part of this.
I was just going to add to that. As we're talking about new families coming and families who may be transitioning out of BFIS, we're also focusing on the people staying here, because that affects, these students that are still here. They're losing their friends, they're having new friends come in, but we want to help them through those transitions as well.
I'll take one more question. And if there are questions, please leave them on the parking lot. I know there's questions about lockers, I was told, so we can address those as well. So we're ready to take your questions, or you can speak directly to the heads that are here. Any other questions? I did want to share, because Laura made mention of the Castellers, and I think the Castellers are symbolic of who we are as a community. This is a cultural landmark for those of you that are here that are new to Spain. But the idea is that the Casteller has a really strong foundation on the bottom. And that foundation is not just the school. It's us and our partnership together to be able to lift each individual child.
Yo ya llevo 5 años en esta Goya y no es la primera vez que vengo aquí al concurso de Castells.
So I'll leave it here, but what I wanted you to stay with is it's our work collectively together that has to be organized and structured, but it's really the idea so that we lift each and every individual child. And we thank you for trusting us in leading this work with your children and alongside you. And I wanted to say one last thing that I did not say earlier. One of my passions is picture books. I'm a fan. And I always try to introduce a picture book and give the rationale as to it. This I'm actually going to read to my kid tonight. I'm going to read it to him online. And it's called What We'll Build. And it's a book about a father and a child building a structure. And it's a powerful book. And one of the things we want to keep and continue to promote is reading. Reading like actual paper books. So if you have questions about picture books, and I don't care if your child is a senior or a junior, it's a wonderful way to connect with your child, but also a beautiful way to teach lessons. And if anyone wants to check this one out, I will lend it to you. It's a great book. We thank you for coming, and we appreciate you being here, and we look forward to this year. And look for the Talk Tuesdays, because that's where you'll get more information about specific divisions, but also programming. Thank you again for being here.